Anybody know what the FDA announced yesterday, or is going to announce next week? Anybody see that headline?
Flavors?
Give us the Reader's Digest condensed version.
The Reader's Digest. So basically, it seems as if the FDA is going to ban flavored vapor products from C-stores, tobacco shops, only allow them in stores that are 18 or 21 and over, depending on what your locale's law is, or vape shops, period. So pod systems, same thing. You only be allowed to sell tobacco and mint flavored. They're even looking at pulling menthol cigarettes out of the convenience stores and tobacco shops. That's a good and a bad thing, I think, for the industry. Good, it kind of puts the emphasis back on the brick and mortar stores, which is where it started. Bad, because the folks that live in rural towns that don't have a vape shop or any store that is not 18 or adult over, you're not going to have the option to buy your strawberry flavored e-liquid that you used successfully to help you get off tobacco for 2 or 3 years or whatever it may be. That may push a lot of people back to combustible cigarettes, back to a larger or higher risk of having cancer.
And James, I also think we know what you're talking about. When a lot of customers get their first experience with e-cigarettes in convenience stores and gas stations, and in turn, they'll go on the internet. I did when I started 5 years ago. I bought it at a flea market, I think, and got online, did some research, and realized, okay, this is not the best product, but I found where to find the best product. So I think, like you said, it can be good and bad. It can drive business to your brick and mortar, but I think these people who get their first interaction or experience with these cigarettes in a convenience store can also drive business to your brick and mortar shops as well.
And I think this is also going to put a lot more liability back on the vape shops, from an insurance perspective. Folks that have to insure us, this is going to impact them too, because now our industry, the experts, so to speak, are going to have twice the amount of customers as they used to normal, twice the opportunity to, hopefully do things the correct way. But if not, we're liable, and it's going to come back to him and folks like him that can address that probably a little bit better.
Is the FDA? You said the vape shops as well. Does it include the smoke shops as well?
So they want to ban flavors out of every convenience and gas station. Only allow them to be sold at vape shops or stores that do not allow anybody under the age of 18 or 21 in.
So a smoke shop is valid with that?
Yes, smoke shop falls into the vape shop category, I guess, according to them. Anybody have any questions about that? I know it's only been for about 12 hours or so since that's kind of been announced uninformally, but we'll probably see a major announcement next week from the FDA. I know Tony Abood, who spoke yesterday, was on CBS Power Lunch this afternoon talking about that very thing, the danger that this is putting American vapors in that won't be able to get that technology, like I just said, at their local store, and may push them back to smoking tobacco, which, again, we all know, thanks to the Royal College of Physicians, is 95 to 99% safer than combustible tobacco. We know that it lowers your risk of cancer. Some other secondary things that we've discovered. If you have high blood pressure, a lot of times you stop smoking, start vaping, your taste buds come back, you stop using as much salt, your blood pressure goes down. Those are things that we can't formally, claims that we can't formally make as a wide array, but I know the folks that have had that happen are very vocal about that. The vice president of Ohio, he used to weigh about 450 pounds, had early onset diabetes, he had COPD. He's vaped for 3 years, and he has lost 145 pounds or more. He is no longer diabetic, he no longer has COPD, and his lungs are 100% clear. He's got a clear bill of health from his pulmonologist. So you can't tell me this product isn't helping millions of people. And for that option to be not available where they get their normal stuff, it's a danger to their public health, honestly. What do you think?
I got a little distracted because I was talking to him. Something came across the news about 3 hours ago, and I don't know if it's Juul trying to do a preemptive strike on the FDA's announcements, but it was just listed as of 3 hours ago. Juul's pulling mint, mango, and cucumber. They're not going to sell it in any brick and mortar store. It's unclear whether or not that means vape shops as well.
It said it hasn't been approved, that no one is admitting to it yet, but they wanted to come out before the FDA did.
Because we all know kids just have a fiend addiction for cucumber.
Yeah, and so this shows you how quickly these things developed in the last 12 hours. We've heard the FDA say that by next week they're gonna, ban these sales in convenience stores and gas stations. And now we've got within the last 3 hours, Juul's saying they're pulling their flavor products from brick and mortar stores. It does say, I don't want to create a panic or anything. It does say that it's not clear that if they mean vape shops as well. But right now it's up in the air. So all this has happened in the last 12 hours. And that's a lot of information to process. And it also says that Juul, their plan is to allow it to be available online only. Well, if the FDA bans online sales, how is that going to work? So there's a lot of things in play right now that's come down in the last day. Nothing's been confirmed, so we're not trying to, give you the gospel. But these are valid news reports that have come out in just the last 12 hours, and that is how quickly things change. And I want to kind of direct that back to state associations, because usually the federal government moves really slowly. The state government moves very quickly. You can have, do you guys remember the roll your own cigarette business? You could go in and they would put it through the machine. Those guys got shut down overnight on a transportation bill, just like the whole oil thing here in Florida, the vaping act. Those roll your own places got shut down overnight. They woke up and their doors were padlocked because no one was watching these state bills come down. So while generally the federal government moves very slowly, except unless you're Juul, state government moves very quickly. It's really important that you join your state association. How many have you had joined this weekend?
Nick Orlando, help me. I think we are up to 7.
That is huge. 7 new members for FSFA, and in 1 weekend is huge. I work with Tennessee. I'm with the Tennessee Smoke-Free Association, and I also work for Mountain Oak Vapors. If these state associations aren't funded at the level that they need to be funded at, these are the kinds of things that happen, and it happens quickly, and it happens when no one's watching. If they're not able to pay their lobbyists to watch these bills as they come down, that's how things get done overnight at the state level. And I always want to redirect things back to the state level, because we have VTA for the federal level. These guys here, Nick Orlando, Dolores Orlando, and James with Ohio, these are the guys with the boots on the ground at the state level. These are the people that you want to fund. Take that information back to your shops. Take it back to the shops next to you, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. And we don't know what this means. What's been released in the last 12 hours, we don't know what that means for a shop. I have to get with my shop owner and say, okay, do we need to pull flavored Juul pods from our shelves? We don't know, because right now it's just news stories, but they're credible news stories as of right now.
Right, and then you got to look at one other thing that I saw today. As soon as I got done speaking about battery safety, I saw a letter posted on Facebook from LG Battery Company. If you are selling LG batteries, 18650s or whatever, that letter serves as a cease and desist immediately. So it's starting, folks, and like I talked about earlier, only order batteries that have liability certificates that were designed for vapor devices. Now, go ahead.
So on the batteries, and I think we touched on it earlier, is making sure that the carbon footprint with the battery solutions, and making sure that when we as insurance people, or whoever tells you from the insurance society, from that industry, is when we say don't carry these 4 batteries, I wish I could give you a reason why, because even from Lloyd's, we can't get an answer why we won't cover those batteries, except for, well, we've had incidents with them. Well, incidents are great, but we know that it's not the battery creating the incident, it's the people. So LG, EFES, Imran, and MXJO, I've used all 4 of those batteries and never had a problem. But we're smart people and not putting it in our pocket and et cetera.
I'm not going to call myself smart, that's for sure. So a quick question. Let's revert back to the flavor thing. So in the e-cig intelligence survey, what was the percentage of folks that used flavored vapor, especially teens? Was that in there at all?
It's a tricky one because we only survey 18 plus.
So
yeah, to reach under 18s, you need like certain permissions, and it's
for
it's
18
just
and up,
difficult.
what was that number?
Well, I'm very happy to make a certain cuts in our data and dig that out. I don't have it, ready right now, but I can definitely prepare something and maybe send it out to your members. And
Just curious as to what percentage of vapors that will affect.
but the
I'm
thing
going to
is
say
that,
it's probably upwards of 75%, maybe 80.
yeah, from our consumer survey, since we reach advanced vapors, so they are advanced open system users. They use large bottles, e-liquid in high quantities. They are not going to go for tobacco, most likely, but because they are not just entering the category, they have been around for a long time. They have very advanced tastes already, so they will go for probably flavors. But we don't really go into the importance of flavors because we don't ask. So it's like correlation and is the relationship of the causation. So is it caused? So people take up vaping because of the flavor, or just because they vape, they go for flavor. So we don't know whether the flavors help the initiation, so that's what takes people into the category, or just because they are in, that's where they evolve towards. So that's a dangerous thing to kind of state, right?
Right.
Dr. Parcelinos did a study about it came out about 2 months ago. We had our TSFA members give data for this study, and what we had our shops do, if they were able to, is pull their sales records and give us a percentage of tobacco flavors sold, fruit flavors sold, dessert flavors sold, so on and so on and so on. I can tell you for sure, based on the TSFA data, that tobacco is the smallest. It ranged anywhere from 5% to 17% of sales. And I know that if flavors were gone, and had I known that all this was going to happen today, I could have brought some hard data. I would have brought Dr. F's study with me, but I didn't realize that all this flavor stuff was going to happen today. It's kind of a surprise. But based on that data, and those are hard numbers from real shops in the state of Tennessee, based on those numbers, if they take flavors, we are done. We cannot survive. Are you guys shop owners? Can you survive on tobacco flavors alone? I don't know any shop that can. I don't know any shop that can survive on tobacco flavors alone. So, again, if I'd have known that this would be the topic of the end of the day, I would have. But Dr. Parcelinos, if you're not familiar with him, he's a Greek physician, and he actually started research to try to. He was opposed to e-cigarettes. He wanted to show that they were harmful. But he's fair and he's balanced, and guess what happened? All his studies showed the benefits of e-cigarettes. So about 3 years ago, TSFA, we were able, with the help of some Chinese manufacturers, to give him about $80,000 to do a study on emissions. Of course, that study came out favorable. When we did the flavor study about 2 months ago, it shows, and again, I don't have the hard numbers, but it shows without a doubt that flavors are essential to help adults stop smoking. Flavors are essential to the survival of our business.
And I'll take that one step further. If you're a liquid manufacturer sitting here, this should scare the bejesus out of you at this point in time. But if I were you, because the fact that this is not, if this announcement holds true, I would be visiting my tobacco shops. Give them the quality products, give them the knowledge, because they will spend time with the customer. I love the convenience stores for the fact that they bring customers to us that initially try them there, but the next line up is going to be the smoke shop. And if you're manufacturing liquid, I would go to the local tobacco shop, talk to them, educate them, offer them your product, because if not, that person may go back to smoking cigarettes. We really need the good stewards of the industry to step up and start thinking outside of the box, start forward thinking, because if we don't concentrate on that segment along with our own, they're going to take the flavors away from that segment, then it'll just be us, and then it's going to be on us, and I'm sure at that point if we fail, which I don't think we will, but if we do,
then we're just next in line.
We're just the next one with a bullseye on our side. So we've got to get out ahead of this thing. We should right now be hitting or thinking about a plan to go back home if you manufacture and start looking at tobacco shops.
That's great discussion from a panel of experts. Does anybody have any more questions? Okay. So if you're in Ohio, if your business is located in Ohio, or you do business in Ohio, you need to talk to James.
Look for this logo on the front door of every shop.
That's right.
Because it's
if
there.
you are in Tennessee or you do business in Tennessee, you need to be talking to Nicole. If you are anywhere in the continental U.S. and you need insurance, you need to be talking to Scott. And if you want to keep up with the latest on what's going on survey-wise with eSig Intelligence, give them the website. What's the website? eSigintelligence.com.